Waitakere City Council Arts Coordinator Naomi McCleary knows what it's like to make art more accessible and break down its definitions. That's exactly what she did earlier this year with the Eco Cities Sculpture Symposium, held on the Corbins Winery estate.
The Eco Arts Sculpture Symposium started probably 18 months ago as a dream to have an arts event which picked up on the issue of sustainability, because that is a sort of driving principle for Waitakere City. And it really got into action in the middle of '94 with an eco art forum in which artists from all over the region discussed the issues of sustainability and what it meant to artists, and what were the issues that they needed to be addressing, both personal and in the wider context of the environment. And in terms of the message, what were they wanting to say about the future, and what sort of world did they want to have for their children and their grandchildren. And that was a pretty exciting day. And on the basis of that feedback, we started to design the symposium. So we sent out a brief late that year to artists all over New Zealand to put in a submission to do a work that expressed the essence of sustainability. And that could be the process, the materials used, or the message. I mean, it was a very wide brief. And by the end of that year, we had in 42 submissions from all over the country, and we selected those. We also tried we were very committed to making it a truly bicultural event. That meant dancing the dance, not just doing the talk. I think one of the most exciting things about it was what happened between the artists working in these incredibly diverse mediums. It was exciting for them. There was a lot of cross-fertilisation of ideas and materials. For example, our people working with clay ended up having paper pulp in their clay. The paper pulp people ended up with clay in their paper. This is, sort of a small example. And there's this incredible cross-current all the time, and people working on each other's projects and contributing to them, learning about working in different ways. It was sometimes quite challenging. It wasn't all sweet. I think we'd put the artists in a very open situation where this could happen, and I think perhaps in a sense it reflected the need that sustainability shows up for us, that one needs to be responsive to and able to change in order to forge a new future. And I think that, that's very essential to the whole issue of sustainability, is the ability to actually turn the battleship round, take a new direction. And so these artists were very open to taking that new direction. Planning another one, not quite sure how that will look at the moment. Obviously, we would want to build on what we have achieved here already. This particular symposium has had very wide media coverage, which has been very gratifying in both sort of serious arts publications as well as the newspapers and general media. We're hoping to load it onto internet so we can send the message out to an international audience, and I'm hoping from that we may get some interest from overseas and people coming to visit us for the next. Enormous amount of attention from our tertiary institutions like Unitec and Elam, and from primary schools and kindergartens. I mean, kindergarten play centres and kindergartens coming on site, tying their inorganic rubbish on the monster that we had here, big iron framework of a monster, going around and talking to the artists, and just enormous response and enormous generosity on the part of the public in looking at things that they might not have originally thought were public artworks, like pieces of sculpture, and saying, I can see that's art. It's not what I would have thought was art, but yes, I can see that. I would like to bring even more people from what are non-fine arts disciplines into the next one, because I think that we are needing to and beginning to break down the definition of what an artist is. An artist, in my view, is a person who has something creative to say about his world or our world, and that can be a furniture maker, a musician, an instrument maker, someone who builds stone walls, someone who designs environments. And I think the fine artist has a place to play with those people in designing a future and saying so in an expressive and creative way. And I think the benefit to all the people working in those disciplines is enormous from having that cross-fertilisation and not being closed into their little boxes of, you know, I am an architect, I am an artist, I am a furniture maker. So that's where I feel we're heading.